you could go ahead and turn your writer's notebook to the next available page for me. Thank you for those of you who are keeping your voices off. And please go ahead and put today's date in the corner. Today is 8/20/21. Now, one of the things that we've been talking about all year, or I should say all year, since we started this unit, this is only the 4th lesson. So one of the things we've been talking about through this lesson has been the importance of walking in the shoes of our main character and writing the story as if we are experiencing that event again. We've also talked about a term that we call writing from inside of the story. So let's go ahead. I'd like to have a reference. I'd like you to have a reference in your notebook so that you can look back to it and see what we're talking about as a difference to the way that you would write if you were writing from inside the story, inside the shoes of the character, like you are the character. You are experiencing what the character experienced. That's why we work on using actual events that we have experienced. Now, when I looked through your narrative writing, for some of you, this is a real struggle when you're telling a story. So I want to give you an example. And if you could please write this in your notebook. My sister picked up the phone. It was my mom. Telling her that she had been at the doctor. Or had been to the doctor. Now, this is very similar to the way that some of you are writing. Yes? Thank you. I always appreciate when people point out my mistakes. Just goes to show you everybody makes mistakes. Yes, did I have another mistake?
Yeah, you also said my sister picked up the phone.
Oh, thank you. Just trying to write very quickly. Okay, my sister picked up the phone. It was my mom telling her that she had been to the doctor. This is a perfect example of the writing that some of you are doing. When you're writing your narrative, you're forgetting that aspect of walking in the shoes of the person, the main character, and writing from inside the story. So I wanted to show you kind of a way for you to do that. Now, obviously, from the way the story is being told, the main character is watching her sister pick up the phone. So we're still going to have my sister picked up the phone. Because that is definitely something that this character would be doing and seeing and experiencing. But if you're living and if you're walking in the shoes of the character, if you're writing from inside the story, I want you to imagine what it's like when you are watching somebody else on the phone. The only part of the conversation you hear is the part of the person who's in the room with you. And if you're showing what that's like, you're going to be turning that into dialogue. I heard her say, what did he say? Okay, that is dialogue, because the sister would be speaking into the phone. Are you getting this, Logan? Are you getting this written down? Okay. And this is still part of the same sentence. That's why the and is lowercase. Did he give you anything for it? It's another question, and that ends what she would say. Then, after she hung up, because if you think about how this would unfold, the character would not know what the mother said until after the situation, right? After the phone call ended, the sister would have to fill in that missing information. The only way we know that she went to the doctor is because we saw the non-example. My sister picked up the phone. I heard her say, what did he say? And did he give you anything for it? After she hung up, she said, that was Mom. She's been to the doctor. She is on her way to pick up a prescription. So hopefully you can see the difference between kind of telling a story and writing in a way that shows what is happening. Writing in a way that's writing from inside of the story. Writing in a way as if you are the main character and you put their shoes on and you're standing in this scene. What are you going to see? What are you going to hear? What are you going to feel when you hear it? All right? You could continue this scene on. My heart sank. We had thought my mother had recovered from her illness. So remember, that's the type of writing you should be doing, writing from the inside of the story, writing as if you are inside of the shoes of the character. If you were living this event over again, what are you seeing? What are you hearing? And those are the details that go into your story. Okay, what I'd like you to do is take a look at what you have written in your notebook that is your story. And I would like you to find a section of your story that you could rewrite in a way like we just did. Rewrite it as if you are writing from inside the story. Okay, you can do that on a sticky note if you don't have any white space to write that out on. And then you can stick it right on your page. I'm going to have you work for a few minutes, and then we're going to share. I'm going to have you put underneath the camera your old version, and then tell me what your new version is. Does anybody have any questions before you start working? Fiona? You don't have to share, but it would be a good idea to be open to sharing. I won't be able to have everybody share, but it would be a good thing to be open to share because we're all learning how to do this right now. And sometimes even if you're not completely successful, you can get feedback that will help you to be successful. All right, so just if you could just be open to the sharing. Anybody else have a question? Yes, Serafina? Okay, so what I'd like you to do is to go ahead and start writing a story, okay? Choose one of the ideas that you wrote down on your chart, and then go ahead and start writing your story. Hopefully you can write your story from inside the story, and you won't have to do any revisions. Any other questions? Okay, go ahead and get started with your work.